Inside, the air was cool and damp, carrying the scent of stone and fleeting moisture from the underground stream that whispered softly nearby. Elias lowered himself beside Lena, whose breaths were shallow but steady, her face pale beneath the grime and bruises that marked the price of her captivity. His hands moved with a practiced gentleness, unwrapping the makeshift bandages to check the wound's deep but healing. "You held on," Elias murmured, brushing a lock of damp hair from her forehead. Lena's eyes fluttered open, meeting his with a spark of defiance, tempered by exhaustion. "I wasn't sure if we'd get you out in time," he confessed, voice low, thick with relief. Around them, the others set about establishing a camp with quiet efficiency. Marco Silva, the wiry local guide with his sun-leathered skin and sharp eyes, moved carefully to arrange their meager supplies, while Jade Kim checked their remote communications gear, her fingers flying over the controls with the precision of a seasoned technician. Professor Haroon Malik, ever the scholar even in these dire moments, pulled out his leather satchel, unfolding worn maps and notes with reverence, his eyes alight with a restless hunger for knowledge even amid the shadows of war. Elias took a moment to observe them, their faces etched with fatigue, their bodies marked by the harshness of the journey and the recent battle. Yet, beneath the surface, a resilience pulsed, binding them in a shared purpose that transcended mere survival. The rescue of Lena was more than a triumph. It was a reaffirmation of their fragile alliance and the trust they had begun to forge in the crucible of adversity. As the fire crackled low, casting flickering shadows against the jagged cave walls, Elias unfurled the living map once more. The parchment shimmered faintly, lines and symbols shifting subtly beneath his gaze. The dawn's transformation had brought new paths uncertain, serpentine, and laden with portent. His fingers traced the evolving contours, heart pounding with a mixture of awe and dread. This map was no mere artifact. It was a living entity, a puzzle that demanded not only intellect but courage and sacrifice. "The paths keep changing," Elias said, voice barely above a whisper. "It's like the map is alive, guiding us but also testing us." Malik nodded, his eyes reflecting the firelight with a gleam of fervent conviction. "It challenges our preconceptions of history, of geography, of what we believe to be immutable. It's a revelation and a warning." Lena, her strength slowly returning, joined them, leaning on Elias's shoulder briefly before settling beside the map. "Cross won't stop," she said, her tone grim but resolute. "He's relentless, but so are we." The weight of her words settled over the group, a shared burden and a rallying cry. Outside, the shifting lands seemed to pulse with hidden menace, the terrain morphing in ways both beautiful and perilous. Marco and Jade stood sentinel near the cave's entrance, their eyes scanning the horizon as twilight deepened. The landscape's restless energy was a constant reminder of the unpredictable journey ahead. Late into the night, Elias found a rare moment alone by the underground stream, the cool water reflecting the flickering lantern light. Lena joined him, her voice soft, carrying the unspoken truths forged between them in the heat of survival. "We can't afford mistrust," she said, eyes searching his. "Not now, not ever." He nodded, the ghosts of past betrayals and losses flickering behind his gaze. "I'm learning," he admitted. "This quest, it's bigger than any one of us." Together, they watched the water ripple and flow, the eternal movement mirroring the map's ceaseless transformations and the endless pursuit that defined their journey. The path forward was uncertain, fraught with danger and discovery, but for the first time, Elias felt the steady pulse of hope beneath the shadow of dread. As the fire died low and dawn's first light crept across the cave entrance, the living map shimmered anew, revealing fresh paths and deeper secrets. Elias folded the parchment carefully, steeling himself for the trials yet to come. The rescue was but a momentary victory, an opening chapter in a story still unfolding, where trust, knowledge, and courage would shape the fate of a world in flux. And as the shifting lands whispered their ancient secrets, Elias Mercer stood ready, guardian of the living map, poised on the edge of discovery and danger, the endless pursuit of truth burning bright within him. I unrolled the ancient map carefully atop a flat, sun-warmed rock, its surface wrinkled and worn but still remarkably resilient. As the first rays touched the parchment, a faint luminescence stirred within its fibers. The map's shifting lines began to rearrange, delicate new symbols emerging like the brushstrokes of an unseen artist. I leaned forward, heart quickening, as the map revealed its most cryptic transformation yet. The new pattern was unlike anything I had seen before. Intricate spirals entwined with angular glyphs, pathways that twisted and folded back upon themselves, and a radiant symbol at the center that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. It was a beacon pointing toward a place I had only ever glimpsed in legends, the cradle of the world's origin. This was no longer a mere geographical quest. It had become something far deeper, an intellectual and spiritual challenge that demanded every ounce of my focus and resilience. Lena stirred from her rest nearby, drawn by the faint glow and the intensity etched on my face. Her eyes, sharp and alert, scanned the map with me. "That symbol," she murmured, "it's like a heartbeat, almost alive." I nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The map was alive, yes, but now it felt as if it was inviting us into a secret that transcended the physical world. It beckoned us to understand not just where, but why, the very essence of existence. As the sun climbed higher, Professor Harun Malik joined us, his graying beard catching the light, eyes alight with renewed passion. He spread his notes across a nearby boulder, comparing the ancient inscriptions with the new symbols. "Fascinating," he breathed, tracing a finger along a swirling glyph. "It's a language of cycles and rebirth, intertwined with the Earth's pulse itself. This map is not just a guide, it's a story, a living testament to the origins of civilization and perhaps even life itself." I felt a shiver of awe mixed with apprehension. Malik's interpretations challenged my scientific skepticism, but also opened a window to a broader understanding, one that embraced myth alongside fact. Our journey was no longer a straightforward trek, but a pilgrimage into the heart of mystery. Marco Silva arrived shortly thereafter, his tanned face creased with concern, but sharpened by determination. "The terrain ahead is more unstable," he warned. "The land shifts as the map does. We'll need to move carefully, trust the signs, and be ready for anything." The landscape around us seemed to respond to his words. The ground beneath our feet hummed faintly, as if the earth itself breathed beneath the shifting layers of rock and soil. Distant cries of creatures unknown echoed through narrow ravines, and the wind whispered secrets in a language just beyond comprehension. That evening, gathered around our campfire, the flickering flames cast long shadows across our tired faces. Lena and Malik debated the possible meanings of the map's latest transformation, their voices weaving between pragmatic caution and hopeful wonder. I listened, recording every detail in my journal, the weight of responsibility settling heavily on my shoulders. Jade Kim's voice crackled through my radio, breaking the night's quiet. Her surveillance feed warned of an approaching storm and shifting weather patterns that could imperil our path. I closed my eyes briefly, breathing in the cool night air, grounding myself before responding with calm resolve. "We'll adjust our route," I told her. "The map's heart beats with us. We must follow it, no matter the cost." As sleep claimed the camp, I remained awake, staring at the map's glowing heart. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger, and yet filled with promise. This was the moment when the journey transformed from a quest for knowledge into a test of faith in the map, in each other, and in the fragile human spirit that dared to seek the origins of all things. The sun rose again, and with it, new challenges and revelations awaited. We would step forward into the unknown, guided by the living map's cryptic heart, ready to face whatever mysteries or threats lay ahead. The cradle of the world was no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality at the edge of our grasp. And so our path continued, winding ever deeper into the shifting lands, where history, myth, and destiny intertwined, and where the true origin of the world waited to be unveiled. I stood at the precipice, the ancient map folded carefully in my weathered hands, eyes fixed on the land that seemed less a place and more a living entity. The ground beneath us pulsed subtly, almost rhythmically, as if breathing in tandem with the slow awakening of the world itself. Marco Silva, ever the vigilant guide, stepped forward, his gaze sharp and calculating. "This is unlike anything I've ever seen," he muttered, voice low and edged with both respect and caution. Lena Dawes adjusted the straps on her pack, her eyes flicking between the shifting terrain and the horizon where the sun was now a glowing promise. "Stay alert," she said simply, the edge in her tone a reminder that danger was never far behind. Professor Malik, clutching his satchel close, muttered something about ancient geomantic forces and the mythic energies that might still linger in such places. Jade Kim, monitoring our communications from a distance, chimed in with a soft beep. Signals from the perimeter indicated no immediate threat, but that could change in an instant. We stepped forward together, the earth beneath our boots rippling as if responding to our presence. Every step felt like a negotiation with the land itself, solid one moment, uncertain the next. The ancient map, alive and ever shifting, seemed to pulse in my pocket, a silent heartbeat syncing with the landscape's own. This was no ordinary journey. The terrain was a puzzle, a test, a guardian of secrets older than any civilization we had yet encountered. Navigating through the valley was a lesson in humility and adaptability. Stone pillars, worn by time but arranged with an eerie precision, towered around us. Their positions shifted subtly, patterns changing like the turning pages of a living book. We tread carefully, guided by the map's shifting lines and Malik's fervent deciphering of the symbols etched into the pillars' surfaces. "These markings," he whispered, eyes alight with a scholar's passion, "speak of thresholds, gateways between worlds, or perhaps between times." Our progress was punctuated by moments of sheer terror and breathless exhilaration. A sudden tremor split the ground beneath our feet, a jagged chasm yawning open like the mouth of some ancient beast. Without hesitation, I leaped across the widening gap, the dust swirling around me, my heart pounding a fierce rhythm that drowned out all else. Lena followed, her athletic form a blur of grace and determination. Behind us, Marco and Malik moved with care, their trust in the group and their own instincts evident in every cautious step. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the valley transformed once more. The canopy above shimmered with a faint, otherworldly light, leaves that fluttered like silver flames, casting shifting shadows that danced across our weary faces. We set up camp beneath this ethereal glow, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient secrets. In the quiet moments, whispers of the past seemed to brush against us, carried on the night breeze. Around the crackling fire, conversations drifted from strategy to stories of lost civilizations, of mentors and betrayals, of hopes and fears. Trust, once a fragile thread, was weaving tighter between us. Despite the dangers, despite the unknown, there was a shared resolve to press onward. The map's shifting lines promised revelations, but also warned of the costs. Sleep came fitfully, shadows of shifting lands playing tricks on our minds. Dreams were haunted by echoes of footsteps not our own, and the relentless pull of a destiny still unfolding. When dawn broke again, the landscape was new, unfamiliar, yet strangely inviting. We rose with it, ready to cross thresholds not just of geography, but of understanding and courage. In the days that followed, every step was a negotiation with the unknown. The land's fluidity challenged our every assumption, forcing us to reconsider what we thought we knew about the world and ourselves. Yet, amid the dread, there was awe at the vastness of the mystery, at the fragile beauty of a world in constant flux, and at the indomitable spirit that drove us forward. Our journey through the shifting lands was far from over. With each transformation, the stakes grew higher, the dangers more immediate. But with allies at my side and the living map as our guide, I felt a cautious hope, a belief that even in the face of endless change, some truths endure, waiting to be discovered. And so we crossed the thresholds into the heart of the unknown, where every dawn promised new paths and every shadow whispered secrets yet to be told. Elias Mercer sat cross-legged before the dim glow of a small fire, the ancient map unfurled on the dusty ground before him. Its lines, faintly luminescent in the twilight, pulsed softly, redrawing themselves in subtle, hypnotic movements that mimicked the restless landscapes outside their fragile encampment. The quiet was thick, broken only by the crackle of dry wood and the distant rustling of unseen creatures stirring in the encroaching night. Elias's thoughts were as restless as the map, his mind turning over fragments of memories and half-remembered lessons. The weight of the journey, the relentless pursuit by unseen enemies, and the ever-changing nature of the map pressed heavily on his shoulders. Yet deeper still was the burden of his mentor's absence, a shadow that stretched longer with each passing day. He reached into his pack and carefully withdrew a small, weathered envelope, its edges worn and softened by time. The leather satchel that contained it had been his mentor's, a relic from a past expedition now shrouded in mystery. Elias's fingers trembled ever so slightly as he broke the seal and unfolded the delicate parchment within. The letter was penned in a familiar hand, his mentor's word etched with a mixture of hope, warning, and resignation. Reading the letter by the flickering firelight, Elias felt the presence of the man who had once guided him, now a ghostly companion on this perilous path. The mentor's words spoke of discoveries too dangerous to share openly, of forces that sought to twist knowledge into weapons, and of a responsibility far greater than either had imagined. There was a plea woven through the lines to carry on, to protect, to trust in the strength of truth even when it was cloaked in uncertainty. A sudden gust of wind swept through the camp, stirring dust and dry leaves into a swirling dance around Elias. The chill in the air seemed to echo the turmoil within him, the clash between fear and courage, doubt and determination. He folded the letter carefully, tucking it close to his heart, as if to draw strength from the mentor's enduring faith. In the quiet dawn that followed, Elias sought out Professor Harun Malik, who was already awake, poring over ancient texts and worn scrolls beneath the pale light of a lantern. Malik's eyes lifted as Elias approached, the usual spark of eccentric enthusiasm tempered by the gravity in his companion's expression. "I found something," Elias began, voice low but steady. "A letter from my mentor. It changes everything." Malik motioned for him to sit, the flickering light casting deep shadows across his weathered face. "Then it is time," the professor said softly, "to carry more than just the map, to carry the legacy it represents." Their conversation stretched long into the morning, weaving through memories, fears, and hopes. Elias spoke of his isolation, his reluctance to trust, and the heavy solitude of being the map's guardian. Malik listened, offering wisdom born of years, chasing myths and truths alike. By the time the sun broke fully over the horizon, painting the shifting lands in hues of gold and amber, Elias felt a transformation within himself. The solitary seeker was no more. In his place stood a leader, forged not only by knowledge, but by the courage to bear the burdens of legacy and responsibility. As the camp stirred to life around him, Elias folded the map with renewed purpose. The path ahead remained uncertain and fraught with danger, but now he walked it with the steady conviction of a man who understood that the past was not a chain to bind him, but a foundation upon which to build the future. The map pulsed once more, its lines glowing brighter with the dawn, as if acknowledging its guardian's awakening. Elias rose, the weight of legacy, a mantle he was ready to wear, and stepped forward into the ever-shifting world that awaited. Yet, even as hope blossomed within him, a shadow lingered at the edge of his vision, a reminder that the greatest challenges were yet to come. He tightened his grip on the map's worn edges, eyes sharp behind round glasses, and prepared for the trials that would test everything he had become. The journey was far from over. It was only beginning. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and the faint metallic temps of tension. Around us, faces once familiar now seemed etched with suspicion and doubt. It was a night unlike any other, one where trust was a fragile thread stretched taut to breaking. I sat cross-legged, my fingers tracing the worn edges of the map's latest form, now folded and refolded countless times. The living map had guided us through ever-shifting terrains and ancient ruins, but tonight it felt as if it were mocking me, its secrets just out of reach, while the greatest threat came from within our own ranks. Jade had been the first to notice the irregularity. Her fingers danced across the keyboard and screens with a practiced ease, but the alarm in her voice shattered the calm. "Elias, you need to see this." I intercepted a transmission, coded, but unmistakably a leak from our own group. Someone's feeding Cross's forces, our coordinates. The room fell silent, the weight of her words settling like a stone. Eyes darted, searching for answers, for the face behind the betrayal. "It can't be," Lena murmured, her jaw clenched tight. "We're a team. We watch each other's backs." "Apparently, not all backs," I said, voice low but firm. "We need to find out who." Professor Malik adjusted his glasses, his usual absent-minded demeanor replaced by a grave seriousness. "This changes everything. If Cross knows our moves, our chances diminish by the hour." Marco leaned forward, eyes narrowed. "We can't afford to waste time pointing fingers blindly. But someone here is working for him." The accusation hung in the air, heavier than any physical burden we'd carried. The group fractured, conversations turning into whispered accusations. It was a war not just against Cross's mercenaries, but one that gnawed at the very fabric of our alliance. I stood, feeling the weight of leadership pressing down. "Listen, we don't have the luxury of fracturing further. We have to act smart, act fast. Jade, keep tracking the transmissions. Marco, help secure our perimeter. Lena, stay close." Malik, prepare whatever knowledge you have. We might need it sooner than later." Lena caught my eye, and in that brief glance, there was unspoken understanding. We had survived dangers outside, but this was a different kind of peril. Hours passed in a tense blur. Jade's screens flickered with streams of intercepted data. Slowly, patterns emerged. A name, a voice, a familiar cadence. The traitor's identity was unmasked, someone we had trusted implicitly. The revelation hit like a thunderclap, disbelief mingling with a bitter sting. Confronting them was inevitable. The meeting was called in the cave's deepest chamber, the fire casting long, flickering shadows. The accused stood stoically, silence their only defense. The group's fury was tempered by the necessity of caution. Rash actions could cost us dearly. "Why?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper. "Why betray us?" Their eyes didn't meet mine. "You don't understand the stakes," came the cold reply. "Cross offers order, something this world desperately needs. You're chasing myths. I'm ensuring survival." The words felt like a knife, twisting in the heart of everything we believed. Survival at the cost of betrayal, a damning trade-off. Before we could respond, they slipped into the shadows, disappearing into the night's embrace. The group was left shaken, vulnerable. Lena stepped beside me, her hand briefly touching my arm, a steady anchor amid the storm. We moved forward. Together, her resolve sparked something within me, a fierce determination not to let betrayal define us. The map still held secrets, the path to the world's origin still awaited, and no matter the shadows cast by traitors, we would face the dawn. But as the echo of footsteps faded into the darkness, I knew the road ahead was more perilous than ever. Trust was a fragile thing, and in this endless pursuit, it might be the most valuable map of all. The fire crackled, and outside, the world shifted once again.